Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Show. We're your host, Ryan Kelly.
And I'm Eric Shaver.
And we're here with one of the top 50 dealerships in the United States of America and Canada, Beaver Coach Sales and Service.
Are we allowed to say that?
I don't know, can we? Shameless plug to the company that has made us the young men we are today.
No, the Canada part.
Not the no.
I don't know if we're top 50 in Canada.
Well, you know.
I don't even know if they have 50.
Well, it's North
Sorry,
it's North America, and we count Canada and North America, just so you know. You guys have been through enough. All right, moving on. Today we have an awesome episode talking about the Affordability Act. The act of you buying something affordable. I call it the Affordability Act. There's obviously trademark infringement, so we had to work around that. But before we get into that, welcome to the Real Estate Show, brought to you by the top 50 dealer Beaver Coach Sales with your hosts, Ryan Kelly
and Eric Shaver. If you're here to learn about all things RV, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we sit down with people who build, buy, and sell RVs to bring you an in-depth look at the RV lifestyle.
Eric, tell us about your trip to Moab.
Okay.
How'd you swing that?
I just convinced you, mostly. And Dave, that it was going to be a good idea, and it was a work trip. It was a great work trip. So we went to, Tara and I went to Moab, Utah for the Easter Jeep Safari. And we were supposed to go last year and be a vendor and everything. They canceled the vendor show, so we still went with the Tiffin 4x4 Club. And it's a group of people that own Tiffins that go around and go Jeeping. And it was an absolute blast. It was the most beautiful place I've ever been.
Wow.
It was the best trip. I don't know if I've had that much fun in a long time. We had a blast. We went on trails every single day. And it was really cool because you'd get up, you'd wake up in the morning, make a coffee in the beautiful RV. And it was the luxury.
What RV did you take?
We took a 2020 Tiffin Red 33AL. So it's a 340 version of the Tiffin Red 33AA. So it's basically it's got one less slide. It's think of a 33AA Tiffin Red, clocked down just a little bit, and it was awesome. And you know, it's funny too, driving the whole way. Everyone talks about you have to have big horsepower, all these different things. I towed my Jeep up and down all the hills from here to Utah at 50 miles an hour, no problem. I was really impressed.
Yeah, and that's the 340 in the 33
that's the smallest motor that they put in a diesel pusher.
Oh,
it was awesome.
Did you call it Al on the trip?
No, I did not.
Did you nickname the RV Al?
Nope.
I feel like that's a missed opportunity. I won't hold it against you.
Looking back,
33AL. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It's really cool because it's an event too where Jeep comes in, and so Jeep debuted their concept vehicles, and we all just hung out around the campfire after going on trails all day and breaking our Jeeps. It was I broke my Jeep, but and then everyone else towed me out. It was great.
Let me give some background here about Eric's obsession with Jeep, which I love. I admire Jeeps. Eric is absolutely obsessed with them. When I first met Eric in high school, he was rolling into town, and his brother actually came to town like a month before Eric did, when his family was moving down. And his parents knew my parents and all that. So I was, hanging out with Dane, and he goes, "Oh man," Dane couldn't drive yet, didn't have a car. He goes, "Oh man, my brother Eric, he's got this cool new Jeep. This thing is like amazing. It's a 1980 something, and it's like decked out. This thing is so cool. Oh my gosh." And I'm like, I am so excited to meet this 17-year-old and his super cool Jeep. And this guy comes rolling in this rolls can hardly, because it rolls down hills, can hardly make it up it. Jeep something. What was that? What year of that
Jeep,
thing?
my $600 Jeep Cherokee.
Yes,
my first
Jeep
car ever.
Cherokee.
Yeah,
that had stock tires.
No, it didn't at the time. No, you're right. It did at the time.
Have stock tires.
Sorry, it did at the time, and then I got hit in the parking lot, and I spent all the money that I got when they totaled it to lift it and put tires on it. It's way better. Then it was cool.
Then it was
cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then every time we went through Eric loved this Jeep. We'd go through Jack in the Box at like 1 o'clock in the morning, as high schoolers would do.
Oh my gosh.
And we get huge sodas and stuff. And I'd set the sodas up, and I turned, and Eric would pull forward, and all the sodas would spill at like 40 some ounces, 60 some ounces of
probably twice
sodas. I did that a couple times, and I just looked at Eric, and he just looks at me like, "Why do you hate me?" This Jeep.
I love that Jeep.
Didn't you rhino lined the bottom, the floor?
I ripped up all the carpet so that you could go wheeling and get it all muddy, and then you could just spray it out with a hose.
You didn't even need to like put a drain plug at the bottom.
No, it just drained itself.
Well, it had that hole.
Genius.
Where in the bottom of it.
Oh yeah, the hole that
rusted
rusted out. Yeah, well, it was great. It was a great
You
Jeep.
didn't even need a
It was a great
drain
Jeep.
plug. Yeah. What do you sell that thing for?
$500.
Right there. See? Cost you $100.
Cost me $100 for all those years.
Fun.
Yep.
Anyway, so I'm glad that this dream
Yeah.
of yours that you've had of going to Moab your
Yes.
whole life is, and you don't still have that
Awesome.
Jeep.
It was awesome. No, I have a different Jeep now.
I have a really nice
I have
one.
a 2006 Wrangler, which is the last of the good ones.
Straight six.
Straight six, little 6-speed manual, and it is a really fun Jeep. And I was really, really shocked at all these guys that we're going with. We're on 33-inch tires, so it's a little Jeep. It's not very big, and these guys are on 37-inch tires, way crazy lifted $100,000 Jeeps, and we went everywhere they did. It was awesome.
That's great.
Not as well, and we had to get towed a couple times, but we did go there. So I will take it. I'll take that as
good.
a win.
Well, I'm glad you got to do that, man.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Next
Good
year
trip.
we'll do a podcast from there. We'll actually talk to some of the guys in the club and everything. It'll be really cool.
Eric went and kind of tested the waters.
Yeah.
It sounds like you definitely need to show up next year.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, man.
Yep.
So let's
That was
jump
good.
right into this, Eric. A little bit about affordability is what we're talking about today.
Cool. I like it.
Here's the thing. With this current market, it's like housing market right now.
Mm-hmm.
The housing market is absolutely through the roof anywhere in the country. It blows my mind. Here in Central Oregon, the average sale price is going 50, 60, 80,000 above asking price, depending on the house, the view, the neighborhood, all that. And there's bidding wars, 3, 4, 5 offers on it. And the cost of lumber has gone up. The cost of building materials, of paint, of everything has gone up. So as a result, base prices on new builds and all that have gone up as well. Mm-hmm. So the housing market's kind of nuts right now. The good thing about it, and what we're seeing in our industry, is people who've had those houses for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and have experienced and participated in all this appreciation are now selling their house, pocketing a bunch of money, buying an RV, and go parking at an RV park for one of those monthly RV parks, or they're hopping around. They can work from home because COVID has taught them that they can do, as long as they have Wi-Fi, which almost all of these RVs now come with, or we can add it. Then you're in your mobile home. Mm-hmm. You're working from your RV.
Yep.
It's a pretty cool opportunity there. So we're seeing a lot of that.
Yeah. So we've talked about it briefly before, but we've got a couple guys. Oh, lost your mic. We've got a couple guys here at work that do that. They full time in high end fifth wheels, where you can be at a park and it's you get a monthly rate, and it ends up, the crazy thing about it is it used to be semi on par with what rent was and different things like that. Nowadays it's significantly cheaper than renting an apartment or a home.
Yeah,
in
rent
town. It's
shot
crazy.
way up over the last 10, 15 years, even just 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you used to be able to get rent for under $1,000 easy.
Oh my gosh.
We're somewhere in the $500-600 range.
Yeah, and nowadays here it's for a single bedroom apartment. It's like $1,700-1,800 bucks a month. It's insane. But with that, for a monthly rate, and then whatever you're paying, if you finance your trailer, you're still going to be less than rent, and you get a trailer that you can travel in. It's kind of a cool, unique time in the world where it makes a lot of financial sense to do that for a lot of people. Tara and I have talked about it, my wife, and we've talked about renting our house out because we can get a good market rent for our house and just buy an RV and live out of that while we can rent that out and search for the next home, kind of a thing.
You get that cash out refi done?
Nope, working on it.
Nice.
We'll see.
That'll be good.
We'll see. Yeah.
Well, and
soon enough.
That's another point. Even though housing has gone down, interest rates, now it's kind of starting to creep back up a little bit, but still it's historically low. RV interest rates are kind of in they have gone up a little bit. They're still ridiculously low for where they were in the past. Mm-hmm. That's what's crazy. So interest rates right now for houses are still at a historic low. RVs, it's creeped up just a little bit, but still, if you finance $100,000, so let's say you buy a $130,000 RV, you put a chunk down, and your amount to finance is about $100K, you're looking at somewhere around a $800 a month payment. That's at 240 months to finance, so that's got to be something a little bit newer. Now you take your $800 a month payment on your RV, your $600 payment on your lot, and you're still coming way out ahead than the $2,000 a month rents that we're seeing.
Right. So
I think there's an opportunity there to save some cash and sock some money away and see what the market's going to do.
Yeah. And on top of that, because interest rates are low and other things like that, this is more affordable as as a toy.
Yeah,
for a lot of people.
true.
You know, it's the economy is fairly strong right now, and we're at a point where, you know, it's affordable for people to go out and buy a RV and actually go and play with it, and, you know, be out in the woods and not have to, you know, just make such a big deal about a trip anymore.
Yeah.
When people don't want to travel by the usual ways, going
Sure.
by airplane and hotel. You know, this is a much more affordable thing when rates are between 4% and 6%. You know, you're making more money keeping your money in the market. So,
well, we saw the Sportsman show too. Like, recreation is through the roof right now. If you're in the recreation industry at all, with Polaris, with hunting, with camping, with fishing, with any outdoor activity, it's just through the roof right now. Unfortunately, because of supply chain, it's going to skew the numbers a little bit, because everyone I talk to who own Polaris dealerships and stuff, they got 200, 300 units on back order right now. I got a customer at the Polaris dealer down south, and he has like 120 some units that he has deposits on right now, and not including
wild.
stocked. So it's booming right now. But you're right, now it's weird. You can afford it. It's because we didn't go through a financial crisis.
right.
Through it, there was a little bit of a dip there, but it wasn't a huge financial crisis. So people have more money than ever before. If you've been in real estate or in the stock market, you've done well in the last decade. And this pent up demand of not wanting to sit around at your house all day long has created this booming industry for recreation. So the nice thing, like you're mentioning about an RV too, if you're just using it as a side, you know, as just for fun, you don't have to hop into the big brand new units.
Yeah.
We have so many nice trades that come in all the time, because people are looking at getting into the full-time deal. They're trading in their really nice 3, 4, 5-year-old rig. And now if you're looking at getting something just for the weekends or whatever, you don't have to buy the brand new one.
Yeah.
You can. We'll sell you whatever you want. But it's no longer I mean, it's now an option to get into a nice pre-owned vehicle.
And you can get into trailers in the $100-$200 a month range.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
It's cheap.
the expense of traveling this way is it's tremendously gone down with, like you mentioned, rates and different things like that. But it's so much more attainable for just the guy like us, where we could actually afford to go do that and go get a trailer, like our good friend Brandon, who just bought one, and he's going to take it hunting and all kinds of different stuff. And, you know, now he's you know, for this kind of crowd, we can actually afford to do that, where, you know, in recent times that would have been a little harder. But no, it's really cool. Like it's a lot more affordable, I think, than people realize. A lot more attainable. From not just from a cost of the unit aspect, but from the camping aspect. From, you know, instead of paying those nightly rates at hotels, which I don't know if you've looked lately, but oh my gosh,
through the roof.
it's like $250 a night.
Yeah.
For a, you know, mediocre tiny little room that, you know, is 30 years old. It's like, oh man, it's totally different. And when you get into something like this,
maybe it's like, it's because their occupancies are way down. They're trying to make more per room. Who knows?
I get it. You know, they've been hit really hard with all this, but man, as a consumer, why would you not want your own vehicle, your own home that you can take with you, that you know what you're getting into, for a monthly fee that's the same as the nightly fee at a hotel? You know what I mean? Let's talk a little bit about what it costs to actually go camping.
Yes.
To actually be in this industry. We get to the opportunity to go out and use these like the Moab trip, things like that. And so let's talk a little bit about the affordability in that rate. We actually did some research on by we, I mean Jared.
I was going to say, did we do the research, or did Jared do hours of painstaking research, and then we
showed up and
we're just looking at it here?
Pretended.
You go, oh God, I'm not going to use half of this research.
So anyway,
He even has check-in times.
There's
This is very Jared's trying not to spit out his coffee. Thank you, Jared.
That is some in-depth research.
Wow. Check in, check
this
out.
latitude,
times.
longitude of the site.
That's amazing, Jared.
It's not, but that'd be cool. So there's
tent pad length 14 feet. Or it actually just says 14. I don't even know if that's feet. Picnic table, why? I don't know if that why means yes, or why do you want to know if there's a picnic table? Okay, continue. Let's use this research.
Okay. To the fullest of our ability. Whatever that looks like. So there's all kinds of different parks out there. You can camp in state parks. You can camp in BLM land. So there's a lot of different types of parks you can stay at. You can stay at state parks, national parks. You can stay out, in the middle of nowhere for free, or for whatever your tax dollars cost you, and all the way up to the nicest, most high-end parks with the pools and all the amenities you want.
Resorts,
RV resorts, exactly. The cool thing is there's a lot of places around Central Oregon. I have a lot of customers that ask, well, I want to get a smaller unit. I want to be able to take them into state parks. I've seen a 42-foot Beaver motorhome up at some of the state parks in Central Oregon. Like rolling in, and all of a sudden, boom! There's a massive diesel pusher. There's a lot of parks that can accommodate it.
The cover photo on the DVD of RV with Robin Williams, where the RV is just on the top of the mountain.
On top, yeah. It's.
We made it fit.
It works. It is surprising how accessible a lot of these places are.
Yeah. And I mean, most of these state parks, national parks, when they became national parks, cars weren't even invented yet, so they weren't really thinking about, big
How long ago do you think national parks were created?
Teddy Roosevelt.
I'm pretty sure Teddy Roosevelt had cars.
Teddy Roosevelt did not have cars.
Can we fact check that? I'm pretty sure he had cars.
Teddy Roosevelt, our 16th president of the United States, never drove a car. Oh, you know what? It wasn't Teddy Roosevelt, though.
Yeah.
Well, it might have been. He did some things. Maybe he shot an elephant. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. No, he rode a moose. That definitely had something to do with national parks.
I don't know. Maybe. Hey, I could be totally wrong. Maybe there's national parks before cars.
It was the guy who went through Yosemite on horseback. Jared, can we look this up?
They still had.
Who is it?
John Muir went through Yosemite.
John Muir?
Theodore Roosevelt actually founded Yellowstone. So
thank you, Jared. Theodore Roosevelt. We just heard it now from our researchers. Theodore Roosevelt, our 16th president of the United States.
The first president to drive a car.
Theodore Roosevelt was the first president to drive a car?
Oh, how the turntables. Would you look
serious?
at that? That's hilarious.
I watched Night at the Museum one time, and I think I'm an expert on Theodore Roosevelt.
You might be right, though. There might have been national parks before there were cars. I don't know. That's a great point.
Thank you.
Now, keep in mind, people did still have like horse and buggy. Like there was still large things.
I'm saying there's not 45-foot hookups.
I don't think they camped for
RVs because they probably made the roads later.
That's probably
I'm almost positive about that.
You might be right on that one.
All right.
I don't think they camped for fun. They camped for necessity.
So what we're saying.
It's camp so we don't die.
What we're saying. My point to all this is just outside of those state parks and national parks, they didn't even have cars. The fire was barely invented yet. The wheel wasn't even thought of when these state parks came to life.
It was still square.
It was still, they were using squares, not wheels. It was very challenging. Nowadays, there's 45-foot hookups right outside the state parks. So you can stay the night there outside the state park, take your tow vehicle, go in, explore, do all the national park, state park things, get your stamp, because that's a thing people do.
Is it?
Yeah, put the penny in and then put 50 cents, and then it messes up your penny.
Yeah.
And you put in that thing you never look at again. You can do that at national parks.
I thought that was like a federal offense to like deface money.
Now you're taking two more pieces of money to deface one piece of money.
I don't know.
To put in your little thing. I did that. That's why I say it. Went to Mount Rushmore and Yellowstone.
You did the whole thing?
I did the whole with the penny.
We used to put them on the train tracks, and then you'd wait for the train to come, and then it would smash them.
Okay. Did you not have like a Game Boy or something growing up?
Nope. It was before the car, Ryan. Which apparently came out 4 years ago.
So state parks, national parks, still a viable option even with a larger RV.
Yes.
And affordable. State parks, national parks don't cost anything except for, the millions of dollars you pay in taxes.
I'll tell you what, they cost something. We had to pay.
How much did it cost?
$35.
Let me take that
in
back.
This economy?
State parks and national parks, a viable option. They don't cost a lot to go into. How much did it cost you at the last state park you stayed at?
Last state park you stayed at?
Yeah.
Oh, probably like $6 a night or something like that, or something. $10. It was stupid. It was up at Crane Prairie, and it's literally like the little. You put the slip in, and I think for cars and several nights it was for your birthday when we were up there. Remember that? And it was I want to say the entire weekend cost us like $50 or less.
Yeah.
For the extra cars, for the RV lot. I mean, it was awesome. We had 2 RVs and like 4 cars.
I'm just laughing
everyone had to bring
because
their car.
I remember that birthday trip, and that it was actually closed. Remember?
Oh yeah, never mind.
We can't talk about.
We won't cite that one.
We stayed right. Yeah, we stayed right outside.
It was closed because of COVID.
It was. I'm like, that was free 99, Eric.
I was like, it's the outdoors.
We
What's it
can't
gonna
talk about that. We pay our taxes, people. Okay.
be? Yeah.
Get off our back.
Technically, I paid for it. So anyway, no, what I was going to say, in Moab,
Yeah.
I was staying at the KOA, and some folks that pulled in beside
Can you
us
spell that for me? Where were you staying?
I just spelled it.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
It's KOA.
I apologize.
It's the alphabet.
KOA, then what?
Anyway, so we're at the KOA, and these people pull in. They had just gotten done spending a week in Arches National Park. And Arches National Park is like 10 minutes from Moab. It's like right on the north side of Moab.
Yeah.
So I had no idea. We got down there. I was like, that's super cool. But you can go into the park with your RV and park there. Granted, you're dry camping, so you're not going to have any form of hookup for anything. But it was super cool because they could just wake up in the morning and go cruise around the park and see all the arches and all the cool stuff. Aptly named.
Well, here's an example. So Smith Rock is a state park here. Okay.
Yeah.
The like a 2 week. Okay, pricing is $8 a night or $56 a week. That's cheap.
It's a hell of a deal.
That's a
heck of a deal.
That's a heck of a deal. This is a family show.
Beep.
What's wrong? You don't. He beeps afterwards.
I did it so he can use it.
You don't have to
Cut and paste.
You don't have to. Okay.
Right?
So anyway, no, $56 a week is cheap, especially if I know you get Wi-Fi and stuff down there. You're minutes from Tumalo. I mean, it's in Tumalo, but the little city there. So as long as you have Wi-Fi, you can go park there for a week, spend $56, enjoy it, do all your hiking and trails and all that, work during the day, play during the night, go on a nice little walk at lunch.
You can do all that.
You can do all those
$56
things.
a week.
$56 a week.
Why aren't you there right now?
Honestly, it's tempting. I'm talking the more we're doing this podcast for us above anything else. I'm getting excited here.
Yeah, no, that's a really good example. So that's a good example of a state park. We have Tumalo State Park, which Jared put on here as well, which is $33 a night, so $231 a week. That one's like right outside of town, in town, outside of town. It's right on the edge of Bend, which is really cool. Same kind of thing with Smith Rock. You have hiking, and you're right by Bend, so you can just drive right into Bend for dinner, all that kind of thing. Now a lot of these have specific length of stays, so you have to bounce around a little bit just so that you're not booking it out and living at a state park for 2 years and nobody else can go there. So usually you're 14 night maximum kind of a thing. Yeah. But if you look at it from an affordability standpoint, if you want to go on a trip,
affordability. Yeah.
So here's the Moab KOA. Let's use this one because Easter Jeep Safari. This is kind of the KOAs are usually, they range anywhere from $40-$50 a night up to $100 a night in peak times. This was a peak time because it was the Easter Jeep Safari. It books out a year in advance. So it's a huge deal. And at the max, our rate was like $110, $111 a night. So it's the cost of a very, very cheap hotel, and we had full hookups, and we had a pool, we had a hot tub, we were 2 minutes from town. I mean, it was awesome. Wow. We had a little patio with a little fire pit. I mean, it was super cool. Yeah. And, of course, a $240,000 RV sitting on the pad. That was cool. But
that you took for free.
Full free. Yes, that part cheated on the affordability there. That's
so you're
not
saying
necessarily available.
If you want to make RVing the most affordable, be an RV salesman.
Yes.
And
then
take one
it's
for free.
Really cheap.
Okay. No. No. Respect. I understand that. Yep. And then you mentioned about a couple of our employees that stay at an RV park. This Scandia one down the road is a feeder program for awesome employees at our store because we have a hiring now sign, and every time they drive by going home, chips away at them. They live in an RV. They know they love RVs. Come and check it out. And we've hired 3 people off of that. And I mean, one of them is in sales now. He's a walkthrough coordinator. The other one's parts manager. And the other guy was the next door neighbor. And now he's our walkthrough coordinator. So have you seen Ryan's spot over there?
I don't think I have.
It is pretty. I was dropping something off one day, and he's got he mows his own lawn. He's got his little lawn there with a little lawnmower, little he shed that he keeps all of his his stuff in, and he mows his own lawn, and he's got little lights set up, and I'm like,
that's pretty neat.
Look at that. That's pretty neat.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, the things that are neat, and that's like $600, $660 a month.
Yep.
You have 3,000 to 4,000 square foot, full hookups. Lawn and landscaping on most sites. Monthly sites only, no nightly. So that's just a monthly. That's a business model. There's lots of those out there.
Yeah, and that includes all utilities. only thing you
Yeah.
pay for is electricity.
Yeah.
So it ends up, that's why we keep talking about the affordability. I mean, depending on what you want to spend on the RV that you're going to live in,
Sure.
that is the only thing that will change. I mean, $660 monthly plus whatever, electricity usage, which is not going to be much. That's negligible in comparison to what you're going to pay at a house. You know what I mean? So, or renting.
Well, and renting, you come out of it not owning anything.
I know. And this, you get a toy at the end.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
It's like a box of cereal.
If you want to go to the coast for the weekend,
really big.
You just hook up to your house and just take your whole house there. It was Ryan was saying, no, it was Corey. Corey was talking to me, and because they live in their RV over there, and they were going on some trip. And the night before, he's like, "Oh, babe, make sure that I don't." He was saying this to his wife. He wasn't saying this to me. He was saying, "Babe, make sure that I grab my flip flops or something before we go." And she's like, "We're taking our entire house with us." He goes, "Oh, you're right. I won't forget it because we're taking the whole house with us.
Everything's going
Perfect.
That's pretty genius.
It is pretty genius.
Yeah.
Life hack.
Life hack.
You see those? Honestly, it's not bad. It's a one-time cost, but way too often in life, Eric, I feel like we look at the price of doing something and not the cost of if we don't.
Okay. So let's say you take a week-long trip with your family.
Okay, got it.
500 miles away.
500 miles.
10 miles per gallon.
Done.
Works out to be about $300 worth of fuel, roughly.
Okay.
And then you have roughly $200 a night if you're staying at a state park.
Okay.
So this entire trip costs you what? 2, maybe 3 nights at a nice hotel would, not including the fuel.
I was texting. I wasn't adding that up. I'm sorry.
That's rude.
I'm totally listening though. Yes.
Thank you for that.
That's not that much.
No, think about it. So that's at a state park, right? So let's say you go to a nicer park where it's like the KOA. This entire trip that was 850 miles away for this amazing Jeep trip cost somewhere in the neighborhood of, it was about $1,200 to $1,500 fuel, stay for 10 days. It was incredible and so that's you can't travel anywhere for that kind of price and get the kind of experience that we got driving there, going through Boise, going through Salt Lake City, visiting family on the way. We got to visit Tara's family on the way at Salt Lake City and park at their house and hang out, and it was great.
Wow.
So you get all that. The whole experience.
Yeah, if you fly, you don't get that, and it costs more for tickets and all that.
And if you go not during the Easter Jeep Safari, it's going to cost you half that because the rates are going to be lower. And you get a pool, you get a hot tub, you get all the great stuff that you would get anywhere else, except you have, you don't have at a hotel, fire pit.
Yeah, you don't. Well,
you don't have your own fire pit.
You don't have your own fire pit.
Exactly.
And by the way, the people who hang out at that fire pit at the hotel, you ever want to hear some just really weird stories? Just strike up a conversation with the people hanging out at the fire pit at hotels. You notice that? Lindsay and I did that over in the coast. Sit down, you come into the conversation. It's always like, and that's when I saw Bigfoot for the 4th time. I call him Eddie. He's a good friend. Just lives down the road. Hairy and everything. I leave out fish for him and he eats it sometimes. Shh. Oh, wait, there's a non-believer. Hang on. Like, hey, folks.
I hope this is a true
we're just
story.
enjoying the fire pit here. How we doing? Good. Where we all from? Yeah. And then shakes your hand with his rusty fish hook. You go, okay, I'm done. We're going to go back to the room.
What?
Yeah, true story. I'll tell you sometime.
That sounds like you just did. Oh, heavens. So the affordability, going
that's
back
the whole
to...
story. I'll just retell it sometime.
Thank you. Going back to the affordability of like what it looks like. The ownership of an RV, you're gonna be anywhere from $150, $200 a month for a trailer, up to $1,000 a month if you go for a larger RV, somewhere in that neighborhood, let's say.
Okay.
And so that expense is a fixed expense. You know what you're getting into. And if you take a few trips a year, each costing a few $100, it's going to end up the same, if not less, than what you're going to be paying for those same trips in a hotel. And typically it ends up quite a bit less.
That's a great point. And food alone, like, you can't in a hotel room. There's no kitchen, and there's a little refrigerator. Some places charge some. Oh wow. Yeah, you don't have a kitchen in it. And now most of these RVs have the outside hookup for the propane, so you're cooking outside, grilling. You can't.
Let me stop you right there, sir.
Okay, he's got his story. He's got his story.
Here's the deal. On the side, Traeger doesn't know this, but I am a Traeger salesman.
I bought one from you, kind of.
That's right, kind of. So we had our sportsman show, and the Traeger guy was there, and they have these tiny little Traeger grills they call them the Scout, and it's the coolest thing in the world. If you don't own a Traeger or any kind of pellet grill, you need to get a pellet grill. They're amazing. And this little one is a tiny little camping pellet grill, and it's a little smoker.
Amazing.
And oh my gosh, dude, we used it every night we were there.
You can literally cook anything in these.
Oh my gosh. And the cool part is you got your RV, you got your hookups, and you have 110 plugins. So I literally just ran an extension cord, bought a little table, and did the Walmart table, boom, bam. And we're smoking meats.
That's so cool. I did the tri-tip on it, about 2.5 hours. Yeah. Somewhere between 250 and 300 degrees. I kind of played around with it a little bit. Yeah. With the signature. Their signature pellets. Listen, Jared and Cody are shaking their heads right now because we have no endorsements at all from Traeger. But Traeger, we don't even care. We love you.
Still love you.
Keep it going.
This is not sponsored by Traeger.
This is not sponsored by Traeger. We both have lots of Traegers, and we like smoking the meats. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yep. But that Scout, you got to get it for your RV.
It's perfect, and they're inexpensive, but they work like a champ. And oh man, it's amazing.
Okay, continue.
Anyway.
Yeah. So now you can.
So cooking outside. I mean, it's just we've always talked about the lifestyle and how much better it is anyway because it's more fun. Well, camping, but you can't. You're absolutely right. The food cost goes down tremendously for the trip. You're not eating out for every meal. You can actually bring whole goods and cook.
And we always eat better when we're camping. What is it about camping that we're just...
You ever had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich outside as opposed to
it's just better.
Just sitting in the kitchen. It's not the same. You go outside, you do a little hike, you do your thing. Always tastes better.
Always tastes better. Yeah. Get sunburned.
I don't know the science behind that, but I'm pretty sure it's a fact.
Just enriches your experience.
You could say that. I wouldn't. You could though.
So yeah, food affordable.
Yeah.
The transportation costs on it still cheaper than flying.
Yep.
Just the time. It's the whole journey, not the destination thing.
Yeah.
Or not just the destination, it's the journey. You get that whole experience.
Yep.
So time with family and friends.
Yep.
And then just the fact that you can do it while you're working. I mean, there's Wi-Fi on board, and
you don't even have to take time off work anymore.
Yeah, you're done. I love all the commercials that have been coming out of they have like a fake screen behind and they're in a conference room, but they were just walking on the beach. And it's the kind of world we live in right now.
It is.
So it is affordable.
Oh,
you can do it.
Before we wrap up, I want to touch on the affordability of the cost of ownership.
Did you say that because I went to my wrap up voice?
Anyway, so time to wrap up. But here's the deal. I want to talk really briefly about some of the other costs associated with RVing because we want to talk about affordability and how affordable it is. Mm-hmm. A lot of questions we get are insurance costs.
Ooh.
It does not cost much more on insurance than it does for a car. It's not this extravagant expense. Also, if you own the RV outright, you can actually downgrade your insurance when it's in storage. So you only pay your larger premium when it's on the road, $100 a month, let's say, when it's traveling, and then it goes down to $30 a month, for instance, where it's just the basics when it's in storage. So if you only use it 6 months out of the year, your costs are going to go down tremendously when you're not using it. Cost of repair and general maintenance, I usually estimate it, and this is really difficult because you can't really put a pin on what it's going to be and what's going to break. But if you budget on a diesel a couple $1,000s a year maybe for just general maintenance, oil changes, sealing the roof, different things like that, that's more than enough typically. On a trailer, it's going to be even less because you have significantly less of those complex electronics and all the different things. You're looking at several $100s a year, for
That's
the basics.
Fair. Yeah.
It could be $1,000 if you have a big break, but it's really more than likely not going to be. So if you average all that out, it's not that expensive.
And preventive maintenance is going to help.
Exactly. And if you budget for it and that going ahead of time, if you just have a little bit of a savings account ready for those little things that come up, which you should anyway, but that RVs do not cost a whole bunch annually to own.
No. And extended service policy, especially if you're buying used, extended service policies, like 90% of them pay for themselves over the life of your owning it. So
100%. You
can talk to a Scottish shoe shaver about one of those.
Yep. And that will bring your costs down and everything over time. And so it ends up, those are some of the questions we get a lot is what are the other, unforeseen costs of owning an RV, and that's really what it amounts to. It's not a lot, and we try to take care of all of our customers and make sure that the rigs are dialed in before you pick it up. So anyway,
that's good.
Just want to touch on that a little bit.
That's a good recap. Yeah. We want to give you some tangible things.
Yep.
So good.
Little nuggets.
Nuggets of truth.
Nuggets of truth. So that wraps it up.
I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna wrap this up.
You're gonna wrap it up?
I'm gonna wrap it up right now.
All right, and that concludes our show for today.
Son of a gun.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Wheel Estate Show. We really enjoyed making it. I really enjoyed wrapping it up.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us today. RV lifestyle. It's more affordable than you think.
It is.
Go out, go play, have some fun, and we'll see you down the road.